Good evening. They're back in it. The Toronto Blue Jays have evened up the World Series with a 6-2 win last night over the Dodgers.
Now they're guaranteed to return to Toronto to end the season, and they're hoping to do so leading the series, and they could take that lead tonight. CTV Sean Leathong is live on the field at Dodger Stadium tonight. Sean, I'm sure they must be excited. What's the mood like there?
Well, there's just so much anticipation, Nathan and Michelle. Game 5, the series tied at 2. Both teams know who wins tonight will have a chance to win the World Series back in Toronto on Friday. I'm going to step out of frame. You can see the Blue Jays getting in some work. Way out there at shortstop, Andres Jimenez, who had a key hit last night in the top of the 7th inning. That was the inning that seemed to break the game wide open in true baseball Blue Jays fashion. They put the bat on the ball, they got runners on base, and they put 4 people across the plate. Final score last night, 6-2. The Blue Jays bouncing back after that 18-inning marathon. We also got a preview on the field today of the World Series trophy. Yes, the trophy given out to the World Series champions was sitting in center field earlier today. It's actually made by Tiffany with 30 flags on the top, one to signify every team. The Blue Jays have 2 of those trophies in their possession. The Dodgers have 8 of those trophies in their possession, and we're going to find out just who will get the next one. Now, I talked to a couple Blue Jays fans who are in Los Angeles today. They're feeling good about last night and what they can do going forward.
I feel great after last night. I feel like we let the 18-inning game get away, but last night was great. On to today.
Oh, such a great feeling. Seeing everybody hitting 1 through 9, everybody rolling through. It was awesome.
It's Blue Jay baseball, and that's what's going to win us World Series.
They've just been resilient all year. That's the type of team they are. The guys, they believe in each other, and they just really, really play for each other really, really hard.
What happens next?
Jays are going to win. We're going to take it home. We're going to be up 3-2. We're going to have 2 chances to close out. We're going to do it. I'm confident.
We, of course, don't want to get ahead of ourselves. There's a lot of work that needs to be done tonight. Now, the Blue Jays are one of just 2 teams remaining in Major League Baseball. All season, the best team in baseball has been the Los Angeles Dodgers, but the Blue Jays said there's no reason they can't be the best team in baseball. And manager John Schneider today said when his players talk like that, they've earned it.
I think anything these guys are saying right now, they've earned, and I think that they truly believe it. You know, it's kind of like when Ernie said, I love our chances in the ALCS when we were down 3-2. I think that's what they genuinely believe, and I love their confidence.
And they have belief in their starter tonight, Treyus Savage, this sensation who came from the minor leagues just in September and has been excellent for the Blue Jays. Started Game 1. He gets the chance again in Game 5. If they're going to be great, it's going to start there. Reporting live, I'm Sean Leathong. Nathan, Michelle, send it back to you.
Thank you, Sean. Enjoy the LA sun tonight. And here at home, it's expected to be another packed house at Rogers Centre as fans take in the game on the big screen there. That's where we find CTV's Beth McDonnell live outside the Dome tonight. Beth.
Michelle, Toronto Blue Jay fans are feeling good after last night's win, and they're looking for a repeat tonight. They don't want another stressful long game like it was in Game 3. They want to see a home run. They want to see some good hits, some good pitching, and some good defense. I can tell you it's very fun to be inside Rogers Centre for these watch parties. It gets very loud. The energy is amazing. It's also been really fun talking to kids who are experiencing this World Series action for the first time, and people who remember the championships in the 1990s and who are looking to see victory again.
Another win, yes. Yeah. We were here the last 2 games for that one game that went on forever. Yeah. Innings, and we're back again tonight. Yeah. Let's go, Jays!
Another home run, or, see Savage, do good tonight. I got my tickets, so let's hope for another big win.
Everybody's just so good. You never know who's going to hit a home run and who's going to hit the next big shot.
I honestly think it inspired the whole country of Canada. I think what this team is saying is if you believe in yourself, you can do anything.
It's amazing. It shows kids, hey, we didn't win it since 30 years, but we're here now. Look at us, and we're going to make it all the way. I love it.
Get them done too.
Getting a lead, I think, would be crucial here, and then they can bring it home when they get back here.
The doors open here at 7. Tickets are sold out. We are expecting another great night of baseball and time with the fans. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. We have more news in a moment, but first, here's a look at the city. Not a bad night for fans heading out to watch parties. As for conditions in L.A., it feels more like midsummer. Lindsay Morrison is here with a look at the conditions both here and there. Hey, Lindsay.
Yeah, Nathan, you know, Southern California is experiencing a little bit of a heat wave right now. Temperature for first pitch is expected to be just shy of 30 degrees, but many communities around Los Angeles right now are into the 30s. This is well above seasonal for this time of year, but the temperature does cool pretty dramatically after the sun sets. Meanwhile, here in Toronto, it is 11 degrees at this hour. Once again, we've been dealing with an east wind today, not overly strong. We're going to see the wind strengthen in the coming days. 5 is our forecast overnight low. Not much to show you on the satellite and radar imagery right now, but here's what's coming. A big low pressure system stateside is going to give us a soaking for tomorrow and might impact your Halloween plans. We'll take you through what you need to know for the weekend coming up. For now, Nathan, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Also tonight, Hurricane Melissa's path of destruction. The deadly storm pummels Jamaica, Cuba, and Haiti, now turning towards the Bahamas. But first, police in Niagara region spent the day searching for a wanted man.
That search included heavily armed officers who raided a home early this morning. CTV's John Musselman is live tonight with the latest. John, there is an update to this search.
That's right, Michelle. I can let you know that the man that police were looking for has been arrested. He is in custody, but the police activity in this neighborhood had many on edge today. Members of the Niagara Police Emergency Task Unit entered this Port Colborne home around 6:30 this morning. They were searching for 27-year-old Brady Neff, who investigators described as armed and dangerous. He is wanted in connection with a weapons incident that is believed to have occurred at another home in this same neighborhood.
They just said, Brady, you're under arrest. 193 Mitchell Street, come out. They've been doing that for a while.
Well, I live up there, so I heard, I seen all these cop cars and these cars down here.
CTV News obtained this cell phone video from a neighbor. It shows a small child wrapped in a blanket and a woman being safely taken out of the house by police. It's believed the home is divided into 2 separate apartments. There was no sign of the wanted man. And while this was going on, Niagara police advised residents to stay inside and keep their doors locked. Several schools in the area were also placed in hold and secure.
It's very overwhelming, a lot of anxiety, and I just hope that we're able to put this back together and able to live in peace again.
The tactical unit eventually left the home on Mitchell Street, but it has been wrapped with police tape. Brady Neff is known to police. In a release issued last February, Niagara police say he was charged with trafficking fentanyl in connection with the overdose of a 27-year-old man in Welland. This man who showed up at the scene this morning says Neff was also training to be a mixed martial arts fighter.
Martial arts fighting, like kickboxing, stuff like that, competitions, that he was a really good kid.
Now, this all began around 6 o'clock this morning, one street over. That's where police found the body of a man. That led them to the house behind me searching for this Brady Neff. And again, the update is at 3 o'clock this afternoon, Neff was arrested and he is in custody. He has a bail hearing in St. Catharines tomorrow. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Back in the city, police have made an arrest after a downtown stabbing this afternoon. At around 4:20, police found a woman near Queen and Bathurst with stab wounds. Her injuries were not life-threatening. They also say a female suspect was arrested at the scene, but didn't specify the ages of either of those involved or whether they knew each other. The investigation is ongoing.
The grueling process of assessing the death toll from Hurricane Melissa is underway. Jamaica's government confirming at least 4 dead at this point, while dozens have been killed and are missing in Haiti. Cuba is also reeling amid widespread destruction.
And the storm, despite being downgraded, is still posing a threat in the Caribbean. CTV's Scott Hurst has the latest.
Urgent search and rescue operations are well underway as the full scope of the disaster is only just now starting to reveal itself. However, initial assessments are pointing to catastrophic damage across many regions on the island nation.
Jamaica's gone through what I can call one of its worst periods.
Hundreds of thousands have been left without power. Homes, schools, and hospitals all bearing the brunt of the storm. A Category 5 hurricane when it came ashore with winds nearing 300 kilometers per hour, one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes on record. The Prime Minister has declared the whole island a disaster zone, even though, relatively speaking, the capital city of Kingston was spared the worst of the damage. Crews are working tirelessly to also reopen airports, potentially some as early as tomorrow. Of course, on an island nation, they are a critical lifeline for not just getting people in and out, but also emergency supplies, desperately needed in the wake of the devastating hurricane.
We have teams out on the ground as we speak. They're trying to get to western parts of the country where we expect to see the most severe devastation. But I think just from the images that are coming in, we see homes that have been submerged, infrastructure completely destroyed, entire communities that are really struggling just to survive at the moment. And we really want to urgently get assistance to them so that they can get back on their feet as soon as possible.
The storm initially hit Cuba as a major Category 3 hurricane. Hundreds of thousands of people had been evacuated to shelters ahead of its arrival, where eastern Cuba, including the nation's second largest city, Santiago, felt the full force of the storm. Despite being downgraded, it is likely to remain a dangerous hurricane as it now impacts parts of Turks and Caicos and Bahamas. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Here at home, some members of Toronto's Jamaican community continue to wait for word on the condition of their loved ones back home. CTV's Allison Hurst is live tonight in Little Jamaica with their stories. Allison.
Nathan, yes, we've been speaking with a lot of people here in Little Jamaica, most of them trying desperately to get in touch with friends, family, and loved ones, but unable to because of that hurricane's destructive force knocking out telecommunications. Michael Ryan watches the catastrophic destruction and devastating aftermath of Hurricane Melissa that pummeled Jamaica.
It's terrible, crazy, crazy, crazy. I've never seen nothing like that.
Ryan's niece lives in Kingston, which was spared the worst of it, but he says it's hard to see what happened to the places he used to call home.
And I see what's going on in Old Harbor Bay. Those are my kids' playground, down at those places. You know, I used to go to the beach with my mom to sell fish and buy fish. And when I see what's happening to Old Harbor Bay, it shook me up.
Tyrone Hamilton says he's been trying to reach his son and daughter, but so far nothing is getting through.
Very anxious and worried.
Videos sent to him from his sister show the airport near his home destroyed and a street turned into a river.
I really can recognize it just flatten out, just like the house top all flatten out, you know. So everybody house top leaking, so no aid there right now.
The Jamaican Prime Minister has declared the entire country a state of disaster, with homes submerged in water, others completely ripped apart, and infrastructure down.
Folks in Little Jamaica are directly connected to people in Jamaica, relatives, families, friends, loved ones. I mean, it's really hard, and it's nerve-wracking and it's scary.
To help with relief, Anika Mark with Little Jamaica Community Land Trust has partnered with Reclaim Rebuild Eglinton West to organize a hurricane relief donation drive in the neighborhood on Saturday.
Some of the donations that we're going to need are clothing supplies, baby supplies, first aid kits, hygiene kits, batteries and flashlights.
All to help those now dealing with the cleanup.
When I see the roof flying off and cars underwater and stuff, I'm just hoping, and gators are loose in the water, right? So I'm just hoping that they're okay.
He's been trying to reach his 3 brothers and extended family ever since.
My heart goes out to them, and I'm just praying that they're okay. They're okay. I'll keep on trying to reach out to them.
With hope telecommunications will be restored soon. That donation drive is happening in this area on Saturday from 1 o'clock to 6. Items can be dropped off at 1672 Eglinton Avenue West. And on the same day, there's also going to be a night market here. So organizers are saying and hoping that anyone who comes by with donations may also stay. That way you can not only support the people dealing with the destruction in Jamaica, but also the community here. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. Still ahead, another interest rate cut by the Bank of Canada. What's behind the decision and the bleak projections amid the unpredictable trade situation? The Ford government has signed a major deal with the Northern First Nation.
It's all part of the province's effort to expand access to the Ring of Fire. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has the details.
It's a $40 million deal between the Ford government and Webikwe First Nation. Another step in the long process to access the mineral-rich Ring of Fire in Northern Ontario. This cash will help the First Nation set up
to build the Webikwe Supply Road, a road or corridor access for the community to the Ring of Fire and points beyond.
It's funding to help with the community center, an airport terminal that burnt down, road construction material, and mental health support.
Making sure that our communities will prosper in the near future and that we address some of the issues that we have.
Very, very grateful.
The Premier says this is an agreement that will change lives.
Creating more opportunities for jobs in community centers and hockey arenas and access to medical and food and equipment that can go up through, I like calling it the road of prosperity too.
Not all First Nations support mining in the Ring of Fire. The legislature's only First Nations member sees a plan to divide and conquer playing out.
You will only get those things that you want unless you sign on to some type of agreement. And it doesn't work that way.
Other critics applaud the help for Webikwe, but stress the Ring of Fire won't help Ontario's economy anytime soon.
Just building the road to Eagle's Nest is going to take 6 years. Donald Trump is here today.
We have mining resources right now in the Sudbury Basin and the Timmins area that could be utilized now to create jobs right now.
Construction on that road to the Ring of Fire could begin as early as June, but that timeline depends on the federal government dropping its impact assessment on the project. The province says it doubles up on work Webikwe has already done. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Ontario's Labour Minister was grilled by opposition leaders at a legislature committee asking about the scandal surrounding a multi-billion-dollar government fund.
As CTV's John Woodward reports, some of the questions came down to the minister's shifting story over some hockey tickets.
Minister, what is the story about those hockey tickets?
I just got to go into estimates. I'll chat with you right now.
Labour Minister David Piccini not saying much about the rinkside Maple Leaf tickets he was photographed in. He said he paid for them, but CTV News learned they were actually season tickets belonging to the man sitting next to him, a director of Keel Digital Solutions, a company that got millions from the minister's Skills Development Fund. A project initially ranked low by bureaucrats until the minister said he intervened. Piccini later went to a wedding in Paris. The groom, a lobbyist for that company. Ontario's opposition saying the ticket revelation could factor into a complaint to the legislature's ethics watchdog.
Did he pay for them? How did he pay for them? And I think the Integrity Commissioner may be very interested in this development.
The opposition says this is just a microcosm of the larger scandal. The Auditor General found that $750 million was redirected towards low-scoring projects by political staff. Many are big donors or used connected lobbyists.
They could have a picture of that in the dictionary beside conflict of interest.
The minister facing spirited questions at a legislature committee.
These groups recognize the impact that this fund is having. We never had a fund that supported people with rapid training, 12, 16, 18-week training that can link them directly into a job. So I stand with these groups.
No, you're hiding behind them.
We stopped in at Keel Digital Solutions' Bloor Street office. No answer there. Wednesday morning, Premier Ford weighed in on calls for Piccini's resignation.
I got to support David. He's worked his back off on this, so created over 700,000 opportunities and 100,000 jobs for people that would never be able to have a job.
Piccini did make good on his offer to talk. So what's the story with the tickets?
I pay for my own tickets.
But how did you pay for your ticket? These are season tickets.
I paid for my own tickets.
How?
I paid for those tickets, and I've answered your question.
Whether that's enough to satisfy critics may be up to Ontario's Integrity Commissioner. John Woodward, CTV News.
Auto workers rallied outside the Stellantis plant in Brampton today.
The group is protesting the company's recent decision to relocate production from the facility to Illinois. CTV's Janice Golding has the details.
Solidarity! Hundreds of Stellantis employees protested outside the Brampton manufacturing plant today.
They've worked hard, they deserve answers, and it's sad.
Reeling from the news, Stellantis will be moving production to the U.S.
We had a collective agreement that provided us with new product, and we appeared to have a future. As you guys know, a couple weeks ago, Stellantis decided to take that future away.
Unifor members had ratified a new collective agreement with the auto manufacturer in 2023, based on the company's promise to retool the Brampton plant to produce the Jeep Compass. That production was supposed to begin in the fourth quarter of 2025, with about 3,000 workers laid off in the interim. But the retooling was paused in February this year as the trade war continued to escalate. After months with no word, Stellantis announced 2 weeks ago that production of the Jeep Compass would be moved from Brampton's plant to Illinois.
We keep talking about 3,000 jobs. The reality is that the impact to the broader economy is more like 15 or 20,000 jobs.
This woman, for example, works for a company that supplies shocks and suspensions to the plant.
We had to live off of our severance and then go on EI after that, and now we've exhausted everything, so we don't have any resources.
The federal government has threatened legal action, saying Stellantis has legally binding commitments, and pointed to financial assistance provided to the automakers in times of crisis.
Well, we're angry in Brampton. It's a punch to the gut.
Mayor Patrick Brown says, in fact, the city of Brampton sold this land to the builders of the plant for just $2.
You can't take taxpayer subsidies and cut and run, and so we're going to make their life hell.
Brampton councillors passed a motion today to request intervener status and say they will use every legal tool they can.
If Stellantis thinks they can sell this land for some other purpose, it'll never be zoned for any other purpose. If they think they can take parts out of it here, we'll have barricades up here. They're not leaving this location unless taxpayers are made whole or they keep the jobs here.
While legislators do what they can to fight for jobs, laid-off employees are just fighting to put food on the table.
There might be Windsor spots at the Windsor plant, but that's not an easy move.
I want to pay the bills, so where am I going to get the money?
Janice Golding, CTV News.
A crash in Scarborough sent a motorcyclist to hospital with serious injuries. The CTV News chopper got a look at the scene near Lawrence and Markham Road. Police say the call came in just before 11:30 this morning about a crash between a motorcycle and another vehicle. Paramedics say the man riding the motorcycle was rushed to a trauma center with potentially life-threatening injuries. The other driver was not hurt and remained on scene.
North of the city, police are asking for your help finding a missing senior. York Regional Police shared this photo of 65-year-old Shikwi from Richmond Hill. They say he was last seen around 7 this morning leaving his home on Princeton Avenue near Leslie and Major Mac. Police say he's considered vulnerable and he hasn't gotten in touch with family members, and there are concerns for his well-being. The search has prompted the setup of a command post at Headwaters Community Center. Police are asking anybody with any information to get in touch. And to Peterborough now, where police say a child was pulled from the Trent-Severn waterway this afternoon. At around 12:30, police, firefighters, and paramedics responded to Lock 20. 2 officers jumped in and rescued the child. They haven't shared any details on the age or current condition, but emergency crews were attempting life-saving measures before the child was taken to hospital. Police have said there's no indication of criminality in this incident.
Donald Trump's trade war with Canada and our weak economy prompting another Bank of Canada rate cut, the key interest rate dropping to 2.25%.
CTV's Annie Bergeron Oliver digs deeper into the bank's widely expected decision.
The Bank of Canada delivering a bleak outlook today, slashing growth projections as tariffs drive up costs for businesses and fuel uncertainty.
Part of it is structural. The U.S. has swerved to protectionism. It's harder to do business with the United States. That has destroyed some of the capacity in this country.
The bank is projecting Canada will narrowly avoid a recession, with growth just 0.75% for the second half of 2025, and the economy overall 1.5% smaller by the end of 2026 than initially forecast. To help ease the trade shock, the central bank has cut rates to 2.25%.
There's nothing to cheer about here. I think we're lowering interest rates because the economy is under immense strain.
For now, the bank suggests it's done lowering rates as long as its growth forecasts don't change and inflation remains around 2%. But with unpredictable trade policies south of the border, experts say change can happen fast.
If U.S. policy stays where it is, then we can have a little more confidence in these kind of projections. But of course, the president can wake up on the wrong side of the bed and suddenly Canada's in a recession.
Macklem acknowledges that there's not much more the bank can do to put Canada's economy back on a better growth trajectory. That's why experts say the funding and policies in next week's budget will be scrutinized even closer. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Prime Minister and U.S. President were in the same room today for the first time since trade talks suddenly broke off last week. The two were guests at a dinner ahead of the APEC summit. CTV's Judy Trin has the details.
A red carpet welcome for the Prime Minister as Air Force One loomed on the tarmac. Mark Carney was whisked away for a dinner invitation by South Korea's president. There was no denying who was the guest of honor. Earlier in the day, Lee Jae-myung presented Donald Trump with a replica crown and a medallion representing South Korea's highest honor. Carney and Trump didn't engage each other during the photo op before dinner, but at the table, they pointed to each other in acknowledgement, and Trump briefly locked eyes with Carney after the toast. At the table, Trump said what the Koreans wanted.
We had a tremendous meeting today with South Korea. We made our deal. We pretty much finalized a trade deal.
That's not the case for Canada, not after this anti-tariff ad.
America's jobs and growth are at stake.
Trump terminated trade negotiations 6 days ago and is threatening adding 10% tariffs on top of what Canada already has.
How was dinner, Prime Minister? You chat with the president at all, sir?
Very good. I had a very good conversation with all the presidents.
We don't know if Carney and Trump talked about resuming negotiations, but we do know that Carney will now focus on talks with Canada's second biggest trading partner, China. That takes place Friday. Judy Trin, CTV News, Gyeongju, South Korea.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, a new survey finds Canadians are facing a flood of scam attempts on a daily basis, and consumers are becoming increasingly worried that they could be scammed. There's a new coalition to try and stop fraud. I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
Melissa is now bringing hurricane conditions, life-threatening storm surge, as well as heavy rain to portions of central and southeastern Bahamas, tropical storm conditions to Turks and Caicos. Next in the path, Bermuda, possibly once again strengthening from a Cat 1 right now to a Category 2 hurricane once again. And look at that. By the time it's a remnant low, it may clip Newfoundland's Avalon Peninsula. And believe it or not, what's left of Melissa could also impact our weather. We'll take you through the forecast coming up, and stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Chances are you get them almost every day. Scam texts that look like they're from your bank, Canada Post, or the CRA.
Well, most of us know we have to be careful not to click on links that could be fraudulent. More people are concerned they could get scammed. Here's Pat Foran with a Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Michelle and Nathan. A new survey finds fraud is becoming a real threat to many Canadians, and more people are worried they could accidentally get hacked and lose money. Scams are arriving by text, email, and social media, and it's getting harder to tell what's real and what isn't.
Many of us are bombarded with fake texts on a daily basis. They may say you have a 407 bill due, money from the government ready to deposit, or a traffic ticket. They might also say you have a delivery from Canada Post, a job offer, or a rebate from your phone company. Kevin Borisic of Bowmanville recently used Facebook Marketplace to sell a fishing rod. He got an e-transfer link sent to him and expected to receive $150. Instead, when he clicked on it, he was scammed out of $400.
I expected to get an e-transfer from him. I didn't expect to have money go out of my account.
A cybersecurity survey by Equifax found that 1 in 3 Canadians received fraudulent job offers or fake CRA texts in the last 3 months. The survey shows 75% of Canadians worry about being hacked, 13% admit clicking on a fraudulent link, and 6% have already had their identity stolen. Equifax says many of the scam messages are designed to sound pressing, pressuring you to act fast.
Any of those urgent requirements, that should be the first red flag that there might actually be an issue here.
There is a new website, Stand Against Scams, which is part of a national awareness campaign launched by the Anti-Scam Coalition. Companies have come together to help educate Canadians on how to protect themselves and recognize fraud. The central message is a 3-step process: stop and think. Check to see if it's legitimate. If you're not sure, ask family and friends. And talk, then share details about scams to protect others.
The best strategy at this point is vigilance and using multiple layers of protection.
Be suspicious of any unknown text you receive until you can check it out thoroughly, and be cautious before clicking on links sent to you. Borisic says he was hoping to make a little money selling a fishing pole when instead he was scammed out of $400 he can't afford to lose.
You hear it all the time happening to different people. You never expect it to happen to yourself.
And you should know government agencies and banks will never contact you by text with links to click on. And if you get a text from a business or delivery service, contact them directly at a number you find yourself to see if it's legit. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
Back now to sunny Los Angeles and CTV's Sean Leathong, who is live on the field at Dodger Stadium. Sean, there's just so much anticipation for Game 5. Who knows what'll happen?
Well, we do know what the starting lineup is, Michelle, and George Springer once again on the bench, which means Davis Schneider will be leading off for the Blue Jays tonight. Bo Bichette will be in the DH spot again in number 3, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will be in second. And we're very lucky right now. We're joined by Kevin Cabral from the One Baseball Network, which goes into Latin America. Now, Kevin is a Dominican baseball reporter, and we got to talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's Dominican-Canadian. Give us some sense of what he means to the people down there.
Sean, thanks for having me. Vladdy, because of his father in part, and also because of what he's done, he's kind of an idol in the Dominican Republic. People follow him a lot. I think that also his personality helps. People like him. And, of course, he's a star player who's put up big numbers for the Blue Jays. So let me tell you, there's a lot of fans in the Dominican Republic not only following Vladdy, but pulling for the Blue Jays because he's part of the team, and also because of the Dominican history that the Blue Jays have had through the years.
And I did want to talk about that because people may not know that there is a rich history between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Dominican Republic that dates back to the 1980s.
That is correct. Epi Guerrero was a famous super scout that worked for the Blue Jays in Dominican Republic, and he was instrumental in getting guys like Tony Fernandez, George Bell, Manny Lee, and others, Juan Guzman, into Toronto. And at that time, the Blue Jays were one of the teams with most Dominican players, so they immediately developed a very significant, fandom in Dominican Republic. And then we had the era of Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion, and now Vladdy. So I can tell you, the Dodgers, of course, are basically a global team. They have a lot of fans in Dominican Republic, but it's not like they have a huge advantage in terms of who's pulling for which team, because the Blue Jays also have a lot of fans in Dominican.
That's another place I wanted to lead to. We got to find out, especially in the Dominican Republic, do they pull for the Dodgers more? How big is the Blue Jays contingent there? Is it even close?
It is close. I can tell you that the Dodgers probably have a majority, but it's not going to be a huge difference. And I'll tell you why. Dominican winter ball is big, very big in Dominican Republic. And the Dodgers for many years had a working agreement with Licey, which is one of the 2 biggest teams in the country. And, during a period of time, all the stars of the Dodgers, guys like Steve Garvey, Tom Paciorek, Oral Hershiser, played in the Dominican with Licey. So, because of that connection, a lot of Dominicans follow the Dodgers. And also, there's also the Manny Mota factor, who's been with the Dodgers for more than 5 decades. So they definitely have a huge following. But the Blue Jays are not that far behind just because of that rich history that they have with Dominican players.
Okay, thank you very much. Kevin Cabrera joining us, a Dominican baseball writer with One Baseball Network. Have yourself a good World Series.
Sean, thank you very much. Love your country. Was able to visit a few years ago. Loved Rogers Center, and I love the electricity in the stadium during those games. So good luck.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll throw it back to you inside.
Oh, Sean, appreciate it. Have fun at the game. Short break for us. We'll have your full weather forecast when we return.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Well, the sun has set on this Wednesday. We've been getting killer sunsets this week. Beautiful, beautiful. Clouds are rolling in. But hey, we are in the final days of October. We welcome November. On the weekend, we fall back. You expect it.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot. It looked like a postcard, didn't it? But that was a live shot. But yeah, things are starting to change, especially with the time change this weekend.
I was just going to say, we're not going to enjoy too many more sunsets during our 6 o'clock newscast because it's going to start getting a little bit darker earlier. And I will say, as we make our way through the first week of November, temperatures also, generally speaking, look a little cooler, seasonal or slightly below. It's not all bad news in the long range, but we do have some pretty soggy weather to get through tomorrow. Let's take you to this morning's sunrise. So we go from the sunset to the sunrise, and how gorgeous is this as well? I will say, with the clocks going back this weekend, mornings will start to become a little brighter again, so there's a silver lining. But yeah, darker evenings are on the way. Let's take a look at your satellite and radar. Not much to show you right now here at home, but we're going to widen things out to show you this low pressure system is actually going to tap into some moisture from what's left of Hurricane Melissa out in the Atlantic. And with that, we're going to see heavy amounts of rain for Atlantic Canada and maybe even some snow. Yes, snow for parts of Quebec and even parts of Ontario. Environment Canada issuing this special weather statement for areas of eastern Ontario where we are expecting maybe 60 millimeters of rain, but a decent soaking for us too here in the city of Toronto. Looks like maybe 30 millimeters, perhaps closer to 50 in the Hamilton area. This all gets going mid-morning tomorrow, so there's around 9 a.m. It will be pretty steady on and off into the evening. We get another round of pretty heavy rain through your Thursday night and into Friday morning. You'll notice that it's still unsettled. This is Halloween, but look what starts to happen as we make our way into the evening. Drier conditions for much of the GTA. Maybe not everywhere, still some showers it looks like for the East End. And look at all that blue. So possibility of some wet snow in areas of Muskoka, the Algonquin Highlands, maybe the Kawarthas. That's a little scary for your Halloween forecast on Friday. Even though it looks to be a bit drier in Toronto, I do still think it's going to be a little cool, and it is certainly going to be windy. Some very blustery conditions expected. It is 10 degrees right now. We're forecasting an overnight low in Toronto of 5. There's tomorrow at a glance, 9 degrees. That's where the temperature is going to hold steady. And yeah, we've got some rain in the forecast. Single-digit highs pretty much right across the board for tomorrow. If we can, we're going to get to your Halloween forecast here. So this is for Toronto proper. It does look drier than it did yesterday, but those winds could be howling. Now's the time to secure any Halloween decorations that you may have around your home. 7-day forecast looks like this. Let's take you into the weekend. Saturday and Sunday, cooler temperatures not only dayside, but look at that overnight low near 0. But then as we make our way into next week, it's looking pretty pleasant to return to seasonal and some brighter skies as well. That's the weather for now. Michelle, over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. After the break, breathing new life into a Shakespearean classic with an all-Canadian cast. We go behind the scenes of Anne Juliet in this reimagined musical.
Pearson Airport is advising passengers checking bags for U.S. flights to give themselves extra time because of a system disruption. It's one of a wide range of websites and services impacted by an issue at Microsoft. The tech giant was dealing with outages on its productivity software and its cloud computing platform. A number of companies, police services, and other Microsoft Azure clients saw their websites knocked offline. Microsoft says the issue was triggered by an inadvertent configuration change, and a recovery process is underway, but not yet complete. This comes just over a week after a massive outage at Amazon's cloud computing service.
Construction has begun on Toronto's first major new co-op housing in nearly 30 years. It's set to be part of a larger master plan community in Scarborough. It will see nearly 800 new homes built on Markham Road north of Eglinton on a former city-owned lot. 245 of those units will be designated as below market and rent-controlled co-op housing. That means residents will get a say in all aspects of how the building is run.
We have a housing crisis because wrong choices have been made in the past where cooperative housing that has been very successful had been stopped. We haven't built any for more than 20 plus years. So we are now back. We are back building cooperatives, and some of them are not just rentals. Some of them you can actually own.
Not-for-profit builder Options for Homes says today's groundbreaking was possible thanks to a close partnership with the city and incentives from the province. Construction on the Co-op Tower is expected to be complete in 2028. A musical filled with chart-topping pop songs first opened in Toronto in 2022.
And Juliet went on to Broadway success, and now an all-Canadian cast is in rehearsals to bring the show back to the Toronto stage. CTV's Andrea Case has more.
It is the first day of rehearsals for And Juliet, a reimagined take on William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, only this time, spoiler alert, Juliet lives. This is not Vanessa Sears' first time stepping into Juliet's shoes. She was in Romeo and Juliet in Stratford last year.
I already feel very, very connected to the character. Getting to bring her into 2025 and use all of these iconic Max Martin songs and get to tell her story and literally give Juliet a second chance is like a dream come true. I'm so excited.
He's the greatest playwright of all time, and he's here. So please, give him some love!
In the role of Shakespeare, George Crissa. If he looks familiar, that's because he's currently on stage in Bright Star and was recently partially disrobing in Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812.
I may run and hide when you're screaming my name. All right.
This industry is really challenging, and there's a lot of ups and downs. So sometimes it, looks really busy, and you got a lot of stuff to put out there, but the ups and downs are real, so I'm going to ride this train as long as it'll take me until it kicks me off.
And Juliet first hit the Toronto stage in 2022, but Sears saw it on Broadway.
I think there was definitely a part of me that while watching the show was like, I want to do that. That looks like so much fun. And here I am. It is fun. I'm really, really excited.
Crissa saw the original Toronto version from the audience, and with 30 chart-topping hits including Larger Than Life, Baby One More Time, and Roar, he had no idea at the time he'd be taking on one of the lead roles.
It's so well written, and the music, it doesn't get better than the hits of Max Martin. Those are the songs that we all lived our lives to. So it runs the gamut from like middle school up until today for me. So getting to sing this music on stage in downtown Toronto is so, so, so exciting.
It's such an epic part. She gets to do so many incredible stunts. She has the best costumes. She's belting out all of these incredible tunes. It's like such good energy.
And they'll need it. Rehearsals are underway, and Juliet opens at the Royal Alexandra Theatre on December 3rd. Andrea Case, CTV News.
And just ahead, it's referred to as America's pastime, but audiences outside the U.S. are locked into this year's World Series with the ratings reveal about the Jays-Dodgers matchup.
Returning to our coverage of the World Series, the Blue Jays delivered big time last night. The series now tied 2 games apiece as the Dodgers and Jays prepare to battle again tonight in L.A.
CTV's Adrian Gabriel on what's shaping up to be one of the most widely watched fall classics in years.
Ohtani.
With the season's opening pitch thrown in Tokyo, Major League Baseball tipped its cap to the truly global reach of the game.
Let's go, Blue Jays!
I'm from Australia, but I was born in Singapore, grew up in England, all over the place.
And you're a Blue Jays fan.
A huge Blue Jays fan.
Here in LA's little Tokyo, you don't have to look too hard to see who's been crowned king in the City of Angels.
24 hours, Japanese TV is broadcasting about Dodgers and especially Shohei.
Game 1 of the 2025 World Series hauled in an average of 32.6 million viewers combined in Canada, the United States, and Japan.
It's very fitting that, these two teams in particular are playing in the World Series. This is the collection of the best players in the world right now.
Even the series itself, with 2 Canadians who hold Canadian passports, at least, and Freddie Freeman and Vlad Guerrero Jr. You look at Alejandro Kirk, who becomes the first Mexican-born player ever to hit a home run in a World Series. The fan base specifically shows just how global this game is.
The house is full of
Americans, Canadians, Mexicans, Japanese fans cheering on their fan favorite Ohtani. Let baseball be the light, perhaps, that can guide our leaders to a better place here, and let them guide the Jays to a World Series victory.
With the regular season starting in Japan and the postseason soon to be ending in Canada, this marks the first time in league history that an opener and final games of the season have been played outside of the United States. Following Game 5 here in LA tonight, the World Series is headed back north of the border. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Los Angeles.
Good to hear. Seems like everybody's watching. The whole country.
We know what all of us are doing tonight, and then we get a little break. We can do other things tomorrow night before
Thankfully.
Friday. Yes, definitely. Okay, get us cut up weather-wise.
Okay, so tomorrow is going to be a rainy day. It's also going to be a little bit cooler, so our temperature is going to hover close to 9 degrees, which is a noticeable difference from the last few days. Okay, we do get a break from baseball tomorrow, but let's look ahead to Friday night. Game 6 happening here in Toronto. And yes, it is going to be a windy evening, but it looks as though it's going to be a little bit drier. And then the weekend, it's looking not bad. Michelle and Nathan.
Thanks, Lindsay. Appreciate it. And that is it for us, but you can join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night.